Hey, you guys, hello. I am live now. I see. Okay, so today I have 10 minutes before my next coaching call. So I figured I am going to hop on here real quick and talk a little bit about the picture that I had posted earlier today about the inner child. And let me pull this up here real quick to tell you exactly what it said in case you have not seen it. It says, as traumatized children, we always dreamt that someone would come and save us. We never dreamt that it would be, in fact, ourselves as adults. Okay? What do I mean by that? Because I don't know if you can put one on one together with when I say your inner child. Many people who are not in this environment of personal growth or in therapy of some sort, they don't know what inner child healing really is and what that does, right? But we do know that we were traumatized. We do know that we were dreaming back then of someone who comes and saves us, and we would also never have thought that this one person who can save us is us. And I think this is such an important message to share, because many women or men, even, many people are stuck in these traumatized inner child situations, right? We have and it doesn't need to be abuse of like beating or any of things like that, so you may be looking at it and saying, you know what, I didn't really have abuse in my childhood, but somehow I still didn't feel right. Attachment style wounds can come through anything. It can be very super innocently, right? Like let's say if the mother, for example, is very busy with household, for example, vacuuming, whatever, and the kid is looking for a connection, and the mother does not take a look at the child because she's in her brain thinking, figuring out how do I pay my bills or whatever else is going on in her life, but she's not making a connection, she's not making eye contact with her child, then the child could come to a conclusion that it's not lovable. Okay, that is an inner child wound. That is a wound that has been afflicted by a complete innocent I don't know if the right word is transaction, but it's between the mother and the child that is completely innocent and has nothing to do with abuse. Yet you can still have these trauma wounds, okay, that you as a little child, where you have no conscious memories of it, you could have thought that, my mother doesn't love me because she's not connecting with me, she's not making eye contact with me. There are so many different scenarios like this. This was just one example where a wound can come in even though you may not have had a traumatic childhood or an upbringing or anything that you can remember that was horrible, yet it can trigger inner child wounds, okay? So when we were feeling lonely as children, or we were feeling misunderstood, or, we were like, children were supposed to be quiet and not loud, okay? But you were maybe a child that was like full of creativity and, dreams and all that stuff, but you were kind of too much for the people in your environment, and they push you away all the time. They're rejecting you. It's no one's fault, you guys. Yet at the same time, it leaves these wounds in the people. Then, and if they are not addressed, people are going to carry them on and continue, and they can be the origin of many different situations that we are dealing with as adults, right? Without you even knowing that those issues that you're dealing with today, anxiety, depression, all this stuff, could be coming from an inner child trauma wound of some sort. Now, you could be saying, let's say, you could be saying, my parents will never change, nobody will apologize to me, or whatever, this and this. And it could be leaving you hopeless, thinking to yourself, like, why would I ever be able to change this, right? And I am here to tell you that I am living proof that you can heal your inner child wound, and that only takes you. It only takes you to show up for yourself. It takes you to want to learn about it. It takes you to figure out, to get yourself into an environment that you are with a mentor. It takes you to say, I am here. And the teacher, when you're ready, the teacher will appear, right? This is how it always is. This is exactly what it is. You will be able to, if you allow yourself to go into a personal growth environment, in a personal growth mentorship program, for example, something like that I, by the way, offer. If you are ever interested, let me know. I will be putting you into touch with whatever I've got going on. But if you decide that that's what you're going to do and that you want to do, and you want to take step by step by step, you can find healing. Now, why is it that you need to do this, right? I mean, that's always the question in my brain. I've always asked, like, why am I supposed to do something? Why would I want to do something? I tell you that when you start growing yourself up, when you start looking at those old inner child wounds that you have, those trauma wounds that have not been addressed previously, right? If you start there, if you start getting in touch with remembering, how was I as a child? What did I like to do? Am I doing what I liked to do then? Am I doing that now? Am I not doing it now, right? We as children, we were still innocent, you guys. We were like God made us, right? We were innocent. We were not tainted by any of the responsibilities or the opinions of other people, just our parents, right? But we were pretty pure and innocent at that time. So our soul was still there, like, whatever it was for you. Like, I remember I was a big dreamer. I was very creative. And then somehow throughout my adult life, I lost it, right? I had lost who I was. I had lost the fun. I flipped everything to work, 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 and overachieving because I tried so hard to get recognition from people in the way how I was showing up, in the way how I was working for them. And I lost the self-worth. I have lost the fact that I was okay the way I am and the way who I am. And now I lost all those things. And it took personal growth. It took personal development and mentorship to be able to find myself again, to figure out that I was an amazing person, that I am a great friend, that I have so many qualities that I had totally forgotten about it. Guys, it was that bad that I had to Google how to have fun. Okay, some of you are following me now and you're looking at the journeys from last year. Like, I went to Charleston, I went to Yellowstone, I went around Lake Michigan in a tent with my 3 children. I've done all these adventures within the last year alone, right? And you may look at this and say, wow, this woman, she's always been like this. And I have to tell you, I'm here to tell you the truth. I have not been like this. I had to Google how to have fun. What do people do for fun? I didn't remember. I didn't remember what I was thinking about fun, okay? And it's a very sad situation at one side, but then at the same time, if you can shed yourself from that judgment of others, what others going to think about me, who cares? Who flippin' cares what Shmo, Hazi, whatever, whoever people are called, what they think about you? Because in the end, it matters that what you think about yourself, and even more importantly, what your children think of you. Okay, this is a fact. I want to just leave you with that because I gotta go to my coaching course and to my coaching session in a minute. But last thing I want you to know, if not for you, because I had trouble doing things for me in the beginning. I had trouble to do it for me, especially since I've been told growing up that I was egotistical every single time I was trying to do something or set a boundary or, like stand in for myself. I was told I was egotistical and my behavior was not right and all those things, the blessings of narcissism in family dynamics. Anyway, so I couldn't show up for myself. Okay, I couldn't show up for myself. I was riddled and full of anger at a time. And when I signed up for my mentorship at that time, I learned how to do the boundaries, how to figure out, what fun was, how to get back in touch with me. Guys, it takes someone to show you the way. You are not able to do it by yourself. You have to show somebody. And, what happened was that I couldn't do it for myself, but I could do it for my little angels, right? I could do it for my kiddos. I looked at my daughters and I thought to myself, I don't want them to do and suffer the way how I did, right? I didn't want them to have to look at a picture one day and say, you know what, I lost my dreams. I lost my dreams. Okay, I lost my dreams. I didn't want them to have to say that. I didn't want them to have to say that. So I became the adult that showed up for myself. I became the adult that was capable and grown enough and mature enough to show up for the inner child of mine. That little Stephanie that was very hurt and that was very frightened and scared and shy and, terrified, actually, terrified. I learned how to show up for her, and I learned how to show up for myself. And through that, I am teaching my children what I want them to know. I teach them how to be free, how to dream, how to continue to embrace the gifts they have gotten. And you decide for yourself. If you hear my message, if you hear what I'm saying to you, and I'm sure that if I'm talking to someone here, I'm talking to someone out there, and it's time to take back what someone stole from you. That is the sentence my mentor, Danelle Delgado, said to me once, and that is what rings true till today. That is what I did. I took back what somebody stole from me, and now it's your time. It's your turn to learn how to do exactly that. So, if you want to have more information, you know where to find me, but dive into that. It is worth it, okay? Take care.